Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Laurel Langmeyer.
Hi, this is Laurel, and welcome to Laurel's Real Money Talks, a podcast that talks about how to make money, how to keep money, how to invest it, and how to do it with a team. How do you have that integrated conversation with your accountant, to your lawyer, to your insurance person, to your alternative financial planner? And we grab categories. Money is everywhere. You wake up with it and you go to sleep with it. You either ignore it or you pay attention to it. So I bring guests to our show on a regular basis, and we talk about money and just different techniques and tools. And today we're actually going to talk about a technology that we use heavily. I've used it for decades. I think I've used it ever since it began. And we are going to share how you can use this as well to make money. So Darin's with me today. Darin, talk a little bit of just about yourself. I know you work at Infusionsoft, but talk a little bit about just you as a business owner and a background for you as well.
Yeah, my background actually came from broadcasting. I was in broadcasting for several years and worked primarily with a lot of small business owners who were coming on TV, and I would help them formulate their message and their marketing. And because you have a moment in time to get some attention, and how can you do that best? How can you really get your message out? So after about 30 years in that, I left, started doing some speaking on my own, and then discovered this company, Infusionsoft, and realized that really was a great combination of all the things that I love. I love helping other people and teaching other people and helping them with their marketing. So now I get to travel the world and teach people about how they can build their business and they can grow their business. They can automate things. Where am I today? I'm in Minneapolis today. I'll be in Toronto tomorrow. I'll be in Chicago in another week or whatever. So I just get to travel around and teach people and help people grow their business.
So knowing that, and again, growing a business sounds easy, but no one's really been taught entrepreneurial skills. So the two areas, as we know, that fall down heavily for a lot of folks, especially if they're beginners or early stage entrepreneurs, is marketing and sales. So knowing that, what's the single most important thing an entrepreneur really should do to get their business moving, where they have the most impact, I'd say?
Yeah, easy, but something that nobody ever does. The number one thing you need to be doing is building a segmented list. All of the value in your business is in that segmented list. So often we think it is the actual product or the service, but that is not true because regardless if someone's listening to this, if they've got a business, they know somebody else who doesn't do whatever they do as well. They're an inferior plumber or they build houses that aren't as good. So it really is not the product or service because those other people often make more money. The whole point is you've got to learn to do marketing and yet start with a segmented list. So a list is a database. In today's day and age, we do business through a list and through digital marketing. A lot of stuff is done through emails or whatever, but we build those relationships you do them one by one, but you're able to do much more if you have some kind of a list and you know things about people. Oftentimes people say they have a list and they're using MailChimp or some kind of a product that allows them to email out. But unless you know actual information about those people, that really isn't much good. You could have a list of 1,000 people, but you don't know on that list if, for example, you're maybe you're an accountant. You don't know on that list what people have come into you before for tax help, what people have had you do their taxes, what people are, single income filers, what people are business owners, whatever. If you're able to now have information about those people and know exactly who they are and what they're interested in, that's the part of a segmented list. You're able to break things down and communicate with people exactly the way they want to do it. So you've got to have a list. That's where it all starts with. Drive people, have tools in place to grow that list, but not just names and emails, but actual real knowledge, because that's where the money comes in. But this is all about money. You can grow a list for the hobby of growing a list, but if you want to turn the list into money, you have to have information and knowledge about what those people want to do.
So I want to come back and really dig into that because I can tell you, way back in the day, I was, 1920, Bob Proctor said, whoever has the biggest database will win. So not really knowing what that all meant as a, really early stage entrepreneur, I just remember keeping every business card like it was absolutely like a plate of gold. And then, when you really learn what to do with that, it's just extraordinary. So I'm going to come back to that really quick though, but I want to like demyth something else. I think people think their website, and even probably worse today, their Facebook profile, are the most critical pieces. And it drives me crazy when people run their life and their business through Facebook as a database, because it's not a database to them. So speak to the websites and just that, and then we'll come back over to the power of that list making money.
You're getting me all riled up, because just saying that starts making my blood boil. I mean, that infuriates me when people say, "Oh, I can't start my business yet because I don't have my website," or something like that. A website is just one minor extension. I've recently started comparing it to like an octopus head or an octopus body. A website is one arm of an octopus. It's an arm that's out there. The only reason you should be having that website, you can get some exposure from that, but the whole point of that is to drive people to your database. You've got to use that website, but there's an opt-in form. So someone stops in, and I know you're an event planner, and they see all the stuff about your event plan. Now, that's great that they learned about you being an event planner, but unless you have an opt-in form, a reason for them to get on your list and come back into your database, that website really isn't doing any good. Or people tell me all the time, "Oh, I have like 1,000 followers on Facebook, or I have 1,000 followers on LinkedIn." Well, that doesn't do you any good. You can't market to those people. You've got to use the Facebook and the LinkedIn pages of other arms of your octopus. So you have a reason to get those people from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from whatever your social media, back into your database. That's the same with like doing a webinar. If you do a webinar, well, that's great. But that's an arm of the octopus that you grab people and bring them back into your database. It all comes back to, and sometimes I might use database and CRM interchangeably. A CRM is your customer relationship management that gets people to a list so that you know the information about people. You know if they came in on the webinar. You know if they came in from a live event and saw you speak. You know all that stuff. And those people are now in your list, and now you can communicate out to them. You're bringing them in with the purpose of growing your list, but now the CRM, the customer relationship management tool, is what allows you to reach back out to them, for you to communicate with them and to turn them into money. The Bob Proctor thing is right. You need a big list, but you can have a list of 1 million people. If you don't know anything about those people, or if you're not able to reach back out to them, then that list does you no good at all. So the CRM is really the head body of the octopus that you're bringing all these arms, bringing stuff in to feed it, to actually get those people to do what you want them to do.
Let's talk about the information in the segmented list, because the money there is extraordinary, as we know. And like you said, we both get kind of riled up and excited about that. Just talk about the detail of that. I mean, I'll start and just share how we, even when I speak at an event. So like you said, today you're somewhere, tomorrow you're somewhere else. Every time you come home from an event, every time I come home from an event, that group of people gets tagged in a certain way and organized in a certain way, and all the autoresponders. So it's going to speak to how that process works on command, and also the automation that, I think every person that effectively uses Infusionsoft would say it replaces 2 people.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for example, you mentioned speaking. Say someone goes and speaks somewhere, and you come back, like up until this point, unless you had Infusionsoft, you're doing on your own. Best case scenario is you come back with a list of people who maybe wanted to interact with you, or maybe you come back with a pile of business cards or something. And then someone manually has to enter those people into your database, or manually plug them in, or manually try to reach out to those people. The beauty of Infusionsoft is allows you to tag those people. Maybe if you're speaking, you say, "Hey, I'd love to stay in touch with you. Send me a text." All those people who heard you speak, they want to engage with you. They want to follow you. They've fallen in love with you. So give them an opportunity to be part of your database. So you let them integrate in. You let them text in, so they automatically become part of your database. Maybe you're doing an expo or something, and maybe there's a chance for people to sign up on an iPad. That information can automatically go into your database. So that's all automatically happening, saving you the time of having someone manually do this. Now, as far as the information that you're gathering, this is critical. I mentioned maybe you're a professional speaker. You can tag people. These are the people who would hire me to speak. So you think of this big giant Rolodex, and you put a little Post-it note. These are all the people who might hire me to speak. So your communication to them is going to be completely different. Now, these are the people who have already hired me to speak, and maybe they're going to make a referral. So now your communication with them is going to be different. Now, these are all the people who were just in the audience, and they heard me and they love me, and they might want to buy my book, or might want to buy a course, or might want to do something else at a lower price point. So now all these different people are tagged differently. So that's part of the segmenting of the list, is you're starting to break this down. you're going to be able to get money from all of those different people, but you're going to get it in different ways. So your communication has to be different. I hate it when people talk about sending out an email blast. A blast is horrible. A blast is what you do to destroy somebody in a war. And you're not destroying your list. Your list, you're cultivating and growing, you're nurturing it along. So be specific as you get that information, whether they're past customers, they're potential customers, whether they're going to refer somebody, whether they're, came in from a referral, whether they met you in person, whether they met you virtually. All those things are important elements to have in your database because they will allow you to communicate better. And most importantly, they will allow you to turn those people into money, which is what this is all about.
Right. So talk a little more then about the process of getting more sales. I mean, clearly, like maybe walk through, I know you do extraordinary case studies. When I watch you, speak on stage. So maybe walk through a case study of how to get to the sale. A lot of it's automated. And then at some point, if you, like in our system, we have a whole group of people who pick up the phone and start, we call it dial for dollars, because there is a sales team that usually is on the other side. And in some cases on smaller end tickets, it doesn't have to be. But let's talk kind of specifically about how do you take that marketing, taking the list into the sale or the money.
Yeah, because we're doing this because we're trying to get money. We're trying to turn these random people that we don't know and get some money. I don't want to make it seem like it's completely mercenistic. We're trying to help them, and we're able to help them when they help support us and financially support us. So hopefully everybody who's listening has solutions to help people. So even though we're going to be talking about this just in the form of making money, we're helping people, and that's how we're able to get them to share their financial resources with us. Okay, so first up, you've got to be able to capture more leads. And we do that in a number of different ways. These are some of the arms of the octopus that are working to drive people into your database. You can do a landing page. A landing page is a great way to set up an instant, like a little web presence. You don't have to call your webmaster and say, hey, I need you to build a website for me. Maybe you've just got a special promotion. Maybe you're doing a live event somewhere. Maybe you're having a book launch somewhere. Maybe you're going to do a meet and greet somewhere to talk to people. You can create a one-page landing page, and you can do that inside of Infusionsoft. Now, that takes 20 minutes. We have templates that you just tweak a few things here or there, and you instantly can have a landing page. That's one idea. Maybe you do a webinar. There's a university in Africa trying to drive people to their school and get people enrolled. They started doing some webinars. They got 35,000 leads just from the webinars, which is great. Now, the idea is you got to connect that all to the strategy. So you got to keep people moving forward, but they got a bunch of leads doing that. So webinars are great. Live events, if you're doing live events, give people an opportunity to text in and do some kind of text integration, drive people to a website where they can go and get some kind of a free gift. Speaking of free gifts, you do some kind of a free lead magnet on your website or joint venture with other people. Those are all ideas for you to get more leads. So from that, now you have to nurture those leads. For example, the school in Africa, they had the 35,000 leads. Then they sent out following up emails. Now they're giving information to people. The first time somebody meets you, they're not ready to get out their credit card and do business with you. Relationships take time, and all successful business is built on those relationships. So you have to nurture those people, and the first thing you do is you don't say, give me some money and let's do business. What you do is you say, let me help you. Let me find out what your pain is. Let me see how I can help solve that, and let me build this trust and relationship. So you do that through automatic campaigns, emails that go out to people so that they slowly, gradually learn to look to you as the expert, as the person who's going to be able to solve their problems. And you build those automatic campaigns or systems or funnels to nurture people along. You then have to be able to track what they're doing. So are they opening the emails? Are they clicking on the links? There's another guy, Greg Jenkins, he's got a membership site, and he's got 40 modules that people watch. He knows if somebody's watching a video. And if they don't watch the video, he's able to send an email out saying, hey, I know you're busy, but I also know you didn't watch that video. Go back and make sure you watch. And there's some really good stuff in there about 2 minutes in or whatever it is. This is what you're able to do through automation, but you're getting people that process. You've mapped out a process that you want to take them from A to B, and there are several little stops along the way that you want them to do X, Y, and Z to, I shouldn't be mixing my alphabets like that, but you want them to do 1, 2, and 3, these different steps. And if they do that, then there's a better chance they're going to do business with you. So you need to be able to track, oh, look, they fell off the wagon here at 1. Oh, they fell off the wagon here at 2. They fell off the wagon here at 3. Let me go back in and help them and get them back on to make sure they get there. Then you need to be able to make the right offers to people at the right time. So as you're tracking those people, you know this person has completed the whole stage. This person has gone through this whole process. They've watched the videos you sent them. They've read the emails you've sent them. They've clicked on the links that you've sent them. That person clearly is interested in doing business with you. So that's when you can automatically have an email that goes out to them saying, hey, let's do business. But here's a special deal for you. Here's a special offer that we've got that we can do something. So you got to make the right offer at the right time. And then you got to follow up afterwards. You got to turn those people into your raving fans. The number one way to grow a small business is by using your existing business, but we so forget about it. We spend all this work and time and effort on growing new business, and then we forget them. So use your existing business to go back to those people. Hey, you did this with me, so why don't you do this with me? Or here's the next step up. Here's the next leg in that course. Or here's how we can help you. Now you've progressed to this point. So take them to the next level, upsell and cross-sell, get referrals from them. Hey, we know that you loved us, so who else might love us? Or get them to, do testimonials that you could get them to record that, put those on your website. Those are all tools. This is all part of what we call life cycle marketing. You drive the leads in, you nurture the leads, you track what they're doing, you make the offers to them depending on what they're doing, you get sales from them, and then you follow up and turn them into raving fans. So that's sort of it in a nutshell, but that's sort of the way you go to get more sales and grow a business.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I know there's some more what I'm going to call ninja tricks. So Infusionsoft can basically do everything someone needs to really automate their marketing, their sales, their programs, companies. There's a lot of tricks and add-ons. So you want to share some of those, and then maybe even let's go back to our boiling question around Facebook. Are there some interesting techniques to take the Facebook followers and then actually get them over to your list? So let's talk a little more about what I call the ninja stuff.
Yeah. Well, the great thing is Infusionsoft does so much on its own, but one of my favorite things is how it integrates with so many other companies. Other companies add some extra bells and whistles to allow you to use these other different gee whiz apps, plugins, kind of things they're going to be fantastic. Anybody who's ever doing anything on Facebook, you have got to use more targeted Facebook ads and have that integrated directly into your Infusionsoft account. So, as you come and you're like trying to target, men age 40 to 60 who are thinking about retiring and have, income to invest or whatever that might be. You specifically target that group. You're going to get a lot more bang from your buck specifically targeting those groups and getting those people to come directly into Infusionsoft. So use your social media really smartly and target people specifically. I mentioned some of the text integration. We use a company called Fix Your Funnel. Fix Your Funnel and other programs like Call Loop or Sales MSG or Plus This or Twilio, they allow you to add text integration. I mean, you think about it right now, and if you look at your phone and see how many unread emails you have, you probably have a few. I think my wife has like 35,000 or something. People don't always read emails, but if you looked at how many unread texts you have, chances are it's less than 35,000. So you use a system that can integrate your texting. So you could ask questions to people, you can capture their email, their name, information about them. All of that can go into your database through some companies like texting. Another one of my favorites is called Pick Snippets. Pick Snippets allows you to personalize a photo. So I use it. I have a picture of me holding a blank white piece of paper. And anytime I speak somewhere and people text in, then I send them that picture of me holding the blank white paper. But on the blank white paper is written the words that said, "Thanks for joining us, Bob. Thanks for joining us, Susan. Thanks for joining us, Lisa," or whatever that person's real name is. That is the most impressive thing. If you can send what looks like a personalized photo to someone, that's like amazing. Another one I love is called So Tell Us. This allows you to instantly grab video referrals, video testimonials from people. So maybe it's tax season and you send out an email saying, "Hey, did we do your taxes for you? Did you like us? So tell us." The name of the company is So Tell Us. And there's on their phone, there's a little button. They can push that button to record a video referral. And you say, and they push the button and it says, "Oh, I loved Tom. He was the greatest accountant this year. He got me $10,000 and I'm making so much more money. And everybody should go visit Tom. He's the greatest accountant in the world." Boom, that's done. That video that you've just captured instantly goes to Tom's website, instantly goes to the person's social media feed and also becomes searchable where people can find out more information about it. Another company I like is Folklore Creative. The whole thing you're going to have to do is capture people's attention, get people to pay attention to you. Folklore Creative is a little thing where they've created little animated people. And like, the olden days, not the old days, but sometimes people would make a video to have people watch like a whiteboard where someone's drawing on the whiteboard and illustrating stuff. Folklore Creative, I think, is sort of the new version of that, where they have little animated cartoon characters. You could create a video. If it's hard for you to illustrate some points, you could use Folklore Creative to create little animated videos of characters giving people high fives or jumping up and down, which gets people attention while they're watching whatever video you're trying to get them to watch. And then one last one is called Plus This. Plus This is sort of a suite of services. They allow you to do the video engagement. You can track how much videos people are watching. They allow you to do the text integration and several other things. So those are just like a half a dozen of my favorite companies that allow you to add extra bells and whistles onto what you're already doing to take it to a whole nother level.
So, Darin, one last question before we wrap up our podcast is, people are listening to this thinking, I need this. And I think the distinction I just want to stress is outside of an SAS system, I mean, you either can have email marketing, like you mentioned earlier, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Aweber, any of those, but there isn't a CRM, so that way you actually can't do a proper sales follow through and actually document the notes. And the other thing is that we've done is we API'd QuickBooks on the side. So for a small business, you actually have a full marketing, sales, and accounting system that's integrated. So like I said, outside of the big SASs, I think any small business listening needs to pay attention. So the obvious question is, when do you start? I would say now. What would you say? To me, yesterday, but definitely should have started, right?
I mean, so often people tell me, I'm going to get Infusionsoft when I have 1,000 people in my database, when I'm big enough for it, is what they often say. And that is the worst mistake in the world. You're ready to start when you're ready to start your business. You need a CRM and a system like this from day one. If you start collecting leads from people, what are you doing with those people? You're not doing anything. They're ending up business cards in a pile that you haven't ever done anything with, or there's some Excel spreadsheet that you're not activating, or you're not doing anything with them. So don't think in your mind you're growing your database. That information is basically worthless knowledge. You're going to get 1,000 contacts and not know what to do with them. So I think the most important foundational thing, this is more important than getting a website, as strange as that might be. This is more important than even formulating what your actual product is, because people aren't going to buy your product until 3 months down the road after you've nurtured them along. So this is the most important foundational tool to help you do any business. Get this before anything else, but only get it when you're ready to start. If you're doing this as a hobby and you're just sitting around dinking and thinking about someday you're going to do something, then don't waste our time. Don't waste your time. But if you're committed to doing this and want to start making money, then having a CRM email automation tool like this is the most important foundational tool for you.
Absolutely. And I would API QuickBooks right on the end of it. And right as you get this, I must say technology, you're also going to get incorporated because you're making money in the right accounts. I've had to add that in because it drives me crazy too. Well, I love how you're thinking around. I love that. Because too many people do that. It's like, I'm going to stay in Hobbyland, and I think they're scared to death to start because once they start, they could fail. So that's why it's get a team, get a coach, get help. And also, I'm just going to put another plug because we've used Infusionsoft. I mean, there was a point where, I was with the highest reseller of the product in the world. I think it's really, really, really important that, you get started, but also that you have so many templates to help the people get started just immediately. So you don't have to have a lot of funnels and stuff all done. I mean, you have a lot of different categories and industries where you already have the templates, and they have coaches and people that will call and walk you through it. So all of that is just, extra support. So Darin, thank you for being on. Thanks for bringing this information. And those of you that are wanting to ask Darin a question, have a one-on-one call, learn more about it, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, and you put in your name, your phone number, email, and yes, you're going into my Infusionsoft, and our team will call you back. We'll pass your name on to Darin and get you started right away. So Darin, Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say there are so many exciting things happening with Infusionsoft. Just like a couple of weeks ago, we introduced new Infusionsoft, easier to use than ever before. You mentioned the templates, more templates that are pre-built for people, better coaching resources than we've ever had before. So we're just trying to make this tool more available and more accessible and usable by more people to help more people be successful and make more money. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. So thank you for being on. And again, if you enjoyed the podcast, pass it on to your friends, pass it on to other business partners or folks that you know, and stay in touch on Laurel's Real Money Talks. We'll be back soon.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Laurel Langmeyer, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Laurel's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Laurel? Visit asklaurel.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.